welcome to your final maths of this week and of course your final maths of this half term. Now it's the 12th of the 2nd 2021 and we are continuing and actually finishing our unit on time, okay? So in today's lesson we're going to be doing something quite fun, and if I do say so myself, it is a little bit easier than the work that we have been doing. So it's quite a nice lesson really today for our maths, okay? So what we're going to be doing is we are going to be ordering and knowing the days of the week and the months of the year. This is a really important skill for us to learn, and I'm sure that lots and lots of us have not revisited this since year one or indeed reception. So I thought that it would tie in nicely to our time topic, okay? So hopefully we're going to have a lovely, nice lesson today, okay? Because you've all worked super duper hard in the past few weeks. Let's get started. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is begin with our quick maths, okay? Now, before we started this topic on time, we looked at multiplication and division. So just to keep it fresh in your minds, I've decided that today's quick maths practice is going to focus on multiplication and division questions. So I would like you to pause the video now and have a little go at practicing your multiplication and division, okay? Off you go, children. Okay, so you must have played me again so that we can go through the answers. Now, 15 divided by 3, well, if I count in my fives until I get to 15, I will find the answer. Watch. 5, 10, 15. So 15 divided by 5 is equal to 3. I'm going to go ahead and write that in there now. Okay. 14 divided by 2. Well, I don't need to count in my 2's this time because I just know that when I divide something by 2, it just means halving. So I'm going to half 14, which is 7. Okay, 15 divided by 3. Well, I know the answer to this one already because it's at the top, isn't it? Because we can just swap those numbers around and we would get the answer. But I am going to demonstrate how I would have found it if I was counting my 3's. Count with me. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. The answer is 5. Okay, well done if you managed to get that one. And 100 divided by 10. Ooh, well, if we were to count in our 10's until we got to 100, we would know that the answer is... Well done if you managed to get that one correct as well there. Okay, 8 times 5. Well, I know that 5 times 5 is 25, so I can count on from there, can't I? 25, 30, 35, 40. So 8 times 5 is 40. 1 times 10 is 10. 3 times 6. Ooh, that's a tricky one, isn't it? I could either count in my 3's or count in my 6's. I think I'm going to choose to count in my 3's because I know that. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. So the answer is 18. Amazing. And finally, our final one is 5 times 12. Well, if I know that 5 times 11 is 55, then I'll easily be able to find 5 times 12. So 5 times 11 is 55. So 5 times 12, 5 more than that would be 60. Okay, well done if you managed to get some or all of those correct. If you would like to go through and correct any that you need to, then you may do that now. Okay, well done everybody, super work. Okay, time for the subitizing part of our lesson today. So I'd like you to concentrate very, very hard on the screen and I'd like you to see how many dots there are. Now today they're going to feature some 10 frames, okay? So think about that idea of counting in tens and whether the tens frame is full or not, okay? I'm going to give you a little bit longer to work each of them out for this one because you are counting in those tens, okay? Are you ready? Count the dots, children. Well done, everybody. Let's go for our next one. Count the dots. Brilliant. Count the dots. Tricky one, that one. And count the dots. Okay, let's review. Now, the first one was this green one, and we can see that 2 of our tens frames are full, so that's 20, and then we've got 1 with 4 in them, so we know that that is 24. Let's look at the next one now, the blue one that's on the screen at the moment. So we've got 3 tens frames that are full, and 1 which looks half full. So we know that we've got 10, 20, 30, and then if the tens frame is half full, we know it's 5, isn't it? Because half of 10 is 5. So we know that that one is 35. Okay, next one. Let's have a look at this one then. So we've got 1 full 10 frame and a few dots in the other one with some missing. And again, I can see that there's half missing. So I know the bottom one is 5 and I know the top one is a 10. So a 10 and a 5 together makes 15. Brilliant. And finally, we've got our final blue one there. We've got 1 full tens frame again, and then we've got another tens frame with 3 missing. Okay, so we know that there are 7 there because there's 3 missing. So we've got 10 and a 7, which goes together to make 17. Brilliant. Good subitizing today, children. Okay, for today's lesson, your key vocabulary is the ones that you can see on the screen there. Let's have a little practice of saying those words. Month, year, day, week. Excellent, well done everybody. You should be using your key vocabulary throughout today's lesson. Okay, time for the do now. Now your do now on your worksheet, if you've got the worksheet, is slightly different to the one that's on the screen now because I'm going to be helping you to find out how you work out the answers and supporting you with that, okay? So here it says, what is the longest duration? Now we learned this word yesterday, the duration word, and remember it's that period of time between a start time and an end time, okay? So we need to look for the longest one. So is an hour longer than a minute, first of all? Well, yes it is, isn't it? Because there are 60 seconds in a minute and 60 minutes in an hour, okay? So that's a lot more, isn't it? Because seconds are smaller than minutes and minutes are smaller than hours. So what is the longest duration that we can see there? Well, we know that we're going to be looking at these 2 examples because they are both hours. So which is more? Which one's longer? Which one's got more of them? Is 5 hours long or is 50 hours long? Think about if you were told to do your homework. If it was 5 hours, you would be pretty bored anyway because that would be taking too much time. But would you rather do 5 hours of homework or 50 hours of homework? I know which one I'd rather do. 50, brilliant. So that is the longest duration. So I'm going to go ahead and write that in, 50 hours. So I'm just going to write H for short there and a for minutes. What is the shortest duration? Well, we know now that we don't need to look at the hours because minutes are shorter than hours. So I'm going to go ahead and underline both of those. So we've got 50 minutes and 5 minutes. So which one is shorter? Which one's less? Would you rather do 50 minutes of homework or 5 minutes of homework? I know which one I'd rather do. Excellent. 5 minutes is the shorter one. Brilliant. Oh, my 5 is a bit crazy today. Okay, now what we need to do is we need to order the durations from the shortest amount of time to the longest amount of time. Well, we've already identified the shortest amount of time being 5 minutes, so that must be our first one. We were correct. Okay, now we need to think about the second one. Which one would come second? Well, we've got 3 to choose from. One of them is minutes and the other 2 are hours. So we're going to go with the minutes because that will be the one that's next. Then we've got 2 sets of hours there. We've got 5 hours and 50 hours. We've already identified that the longest duration was 50 hours. So we're going to eliminate that because we know it's the longest, so it's going to go last. But we can see that we've got 5 hours, which must be next. And then finally, our 50 hours, okay? So your task for the do now is very, very similar to mine, just using different numbers, okay? So hopefully you will be able to pause this video now and have a little go at completing the do now section of your worksheet today. Okay, now this is just a little bit of a review for you. So we've learned all about time over this topic, haven't we? So we're just going to refresh our memories on time now. So first of all, we looked at, there are 2 types of clocks that we visit at school, okay? So during the time that you're at school, you're going to be learning about 2 different ways of telling the time. Some of you may be more familiar with the other way of telling the time because of the devices that we use in today's society, okay? So the way that we've learned is the analog clock, and the 3 clocks on the screen are all examples of an analog clock, okay? They've got all the numbers on and they've got the hands to tell the time, okay? The other type of clock is a digital clock. And now that's the one that you will often see on your phone or on your tablet, and it gives you the number. It gives you numbers like this. I'll just write one down for you. So it might give you, when it's 12 o'clock, it might be like this on your tablet or on your device, okay? So that is the digital way of telling the time, but we've been focusing on the analog way of telling the time. Now, when you get into year 3 and year 4, you probably will be starting to learn a little bit more about digital, but I just thought I'd give you that piece of information now so that you know that there are 2 different ways you can tell the time, okay? But like I've said, we were focusing on the analog way of telling the time, okay? And we know that on an analog clock, there are lots of numbers. We've got a scale of 1 to 12 because we say that there are 12 hours in our daytime and 12 hours in our nighttime to make 24 in one full day. Then we also have a scale around the outside, and sometimes it's hidden on some of our clocks. It's like a secret scale. And remember, it counts in multiples of 5. So we have 5 past, 10 past, quarter past, 20 past, 25 past, okay? So it counts in those multiples of 5. We also know that our clock is divided into parts, isn't it? So we have a past side of the clock and a to side of the clock. And when we're on the past side of the clock, we count forwards in our multiples of 5, and when we're on the to side of the clock, we count backwards in our multiples of 5. So 25 to, 22, quarter to, 10 to, 5 to. Okay, so that's what we know about our analog clocks. We also know that if the minute hand, because there are 2 hands, a minute hand and an hour hand, when the minute hand is pointing at the 12, we know that the clock is reading o'clock. Well done. If it's pointing towards the 3, then we know it's reading quarter past. If it's pointing down towards the 6, we know it reads half past. And if it's pointing towards the 9, then we know that it reads quarter to. Okay, So we've learned an awful lot about time in the past few weeks, haven't we? We've learned lots and lots of new things. There's lots of new learning that has happened. So you need to keep up this learning now. And maybe when you're walking around your house, you could have a little go at telling the time. So maybe your grown-ups could ask you. You could even play What's the Time, Mr. Wolf, couldn't you? And then you could say the time each time, okay? Right then, everybody, we're going to move on now with today's lesson. Okay, children, let's begin with our new learning. Now, on the screen, you can see that I have ordered the days of the week. There's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Now, what I would like you to do is I would like you to pause the video here and head on over to YouTube by following the link on Teams, and I would like you to play the Days of the Week song, okay? So it's Days of the Week, okay? So have a little go at playing that song, and then you may come back and play me again, okay? Off you go, children. Okay, so you should have just had lots and lots of fun listening to the Days of the Week song, okay? Now what I would like you to do, children, is I would like you to do the first part of your activity today. So your main activity is to order the days of the week, okay? So there are, how many days are there in a week? Let's have a little count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 days all together in one full week. So what I would like you to do is I would like you to have a little go at ordering those 7 days now. Okay, pause the video and off you go. Okay, children, so this is the next part of your new learning today, okay? So we're going to look, we've looked at days of the week, now we're going to look at months of the year. And if we look here, we've got something called a calendar. Now, a calendar shows us our whole year in one big picture, okay? And what we can do is we can look at all of the months. And if we were to count how many months there are all together, there are 12, aren't there? So there are 7 days in a week and there are 12 months in a year, okay? Now, each of the months has got a set amount of days within it. So if you look here, January has 31, but February only has 28, and April has 30. So there are different amounts of days in each month. Now, what I would like you to do is I would like you to explore this idea of the months in a little bit more detail. So I'm going to leave a little bit of a link for you to go and follow on Teams to another YouTube video where you'll get to sing along to the months of the year song. Then what I would like you to do is I would like you to complete your main activity. So in your main activity today, you've got to order the months of the year, okay? So just like I've ordered the months of the year here, I would like you to do that in your main activity for today. Okay, also children, after you've ordered the months of the year, underneath you've got a few questions, and it's just questions like, which month is the 3rd month of the year? And you'll be answering, hopefully, with March, because March is the 3rd one when we order our months. Look, January is the 1st, February is the 2nd, and March is the 3rd month, isn't it? Okay, so it's nice and easy, lots of lovely questions in there for you to really show your understanding of the months of the year, okay? Now, I'm just going to leave you, because we have come to the end of our lesson today. I'm just going to leave you with this little rhyme, and this will be really handy for you to learn, okay? Because I got taught this when I was at school, and I even still use this to this day, okay? So all it says is 30 days have September, April, June and November. All the rest have 31 except for February. It's the one which only has 28 days clear and 29 in each leap year. Okay, So you can have a little go at trying to memorise that little rhyme, okay? And if any of you can remember it and sing it back to me, I would be super duper impressed, okay? So it would be really, really useful for you to do that, because this rhyme actually helps you to understand how many days are in each of the months. So for example, there are 30 days in September, April, June and November. There are 31 in all of the rest of them. So you could maybe work out which months have 31 days in them based on what you know about September, April, June, November and February. Okay, so have a little bit of fun with that, and I hope that you've enjoyed maths today. It's been a nice easy one because I know how hard you have worked over this half term learning time, okay? So thank you all for watching, and I shall see you very, very soon for another video. Bye bye for now, children. Bye.